Week 2, let's go.
Woo-hoo!
Haven.
Let's do it.
Okay, you just completed your first W for the day. You did the workout. Awesome. We can check that off the list. Workout, water, whole foods. Workout, water, whole foods. We're going to stack some habits this week, but we want you to lay that foundation with the 3 W's as we continue on in week 2 of your new client experience here at the Faster Way.
Ooh.
Let's talk a little bit about macros, Haven.
Yes.
Macronutrients. What the heck are macronutrients? I've heard about it on Instagram. I've heard the Faster Way talking about it. Seems overwhelming. I don't know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, it's simply the breakdown of the foods that we're eating into 3 categories. So fats, carbs, and protein. Many times foods are a combination of all 3. Some are predominantly one or only one and not the others. But when we think about energy coming into our body, it is broken down into these 3 food groups, macronutrients, and it's what absolutely helps us with whole food nutrition, and it helps us understand what's going in our bodies to fuel us and to give us the energy, balance our hormones, all the things. So it's really important that we have an understanding of what foods are comprised of in these macronutrient spaces.
Where does coffee fit into that equation, Haven?
It's its own macro.
Coffee is the foundation of my food.
It is for me too.
So 15 years ago when I became a trainer, 20 years ago, many times we were focusing our clients on tracking calories. Okay. It was the biggest loser era. Where we were really counting those calories and we were saying, okay, you should multiply your ideal weight times 11 to determine the amount of calories to consume. So I'm like, okay, I'm $110 times 11, 1,100. I'm like, that's not near enough for me.
No.
And then once I really discovered the power of tracking macronutrients, to be sure that I was consuming enough food and then empowering my client, Susan, in the gym, who was under eating and under consuming and actually over exercising. I said, Susan, matter of fact, actually, we need to increase the amount of protein that you're having, increase the amount of carbs, increase the amount of fats. 3 weeks later, after increasing the macronutrients, she lost 16 pounds. In 21 days after eating more. Same thing happened to Rhonda. Week 4, she's going, Amanda, my pants are falling. I don't understand. I'm eating more food.
It's awesome.
So tracking macronutrients, not for the sake of saying, let's be sure that we don't go over and we want to count these points and we want to. No, we want you to eat enough of the right macronutrients so that you can really thrive through the Faster Way workout so that you have energy for your day, for your kids, for your grandkids, for your work. Let's talk about the power of protein. We're going to really kind of dial that in. So protein, carbs, fats, that's what Haven mentioned here. But let's just, for today's discussion, really talk about why protein is so key. And what are some good examples of protein?
Yeah, absolutely. So protein is a building block for muscle. We want to consume enough of it. It also creates lean tissue that ultimately is the framework at which your body needs to function at its best. Protein in itself, I would say, is anabolic, meaning it actually will burn some energy and as you consume it. So your body has to really break down that protein. And then again, it turns it into that protein synthesis that gives us the muscle. So really key, also helps you stay fuller, longer. And it's just a building block for muscle. And muscle is what we preach here in the Fast Way. We want you to have muscle. It's going to keep you thriving into your aging years.
Can someone hand me the fat and the muscle? Someone's going to bring me a prop here. What are some good examples of?
So when we're thinking about a more fattier protein, we're thinking about salmon. We're thinking about ribeye steak. All right. Avocados is another source of some protein, but it's in a vegetable form. And then I'm thinking about a lean protein. So you're thinking about your white fish. Most white fish, some sea bass is like more fattier. So that's why we're teaching you to read macros so you can understand which has which amount of those protein, fats, and carbs. So then a leaner type of protein would be like your lean ground beef, your chicken, fish. They all fall into those that category of just protein.
Protein is so key. Haven,
yes.
What weighs more, 5 pounds of muscle or 5 pounds of fat?
Oh, that feels like a trick question, but it's the same.
It's the same. They're both 5 pounds. but 5 pounds of muscle takes up much less
Yes.
space in your pants.
Yes.
Okay. And we want to become a pro fat burner,
Yep.
burn this fat, transition to more muscle on our body because
Yes.
then we can optimize our metabolism. And here's the deal.
Yeah.
We can't build this muscle effectively without consuming protein.
Yes.
Okay. We cannot build this muscle. You can do all the workouts in the world. You can hit these 3 W's,
Yeah.
hit that first W of workouts, and you're lifting heavy and you're grinding, you're working hard.
Yep.
And then you're only having 1,100 calories a day
Yeah.
of carbs and fats. Guess what? You are not going to effectively build muscle and you won't be able to see those benefits. So we really want to focus on protein. For me, chicken, okay?
Yeah.
Protein shakes. I do a lot of protein
Yes.
shakes. I love our Fast
Easy.
Away Hydro Beef. It's the only protein where I don't feel
Good
bloated.
digestion.
I
Yep.
personally can't do the vegan proteins, the pea proteins. I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
I just don't feel good. Fastawayshop.com if you need to get some of that protein. Fats, we talked a little bit
Yep.
about carbs. We'll talk more about that, but I do need to, just for sake of time, because I know you guys are stretching, you're cooling down, you got to move on with your day. Let's move into carb
Yes.
cycling. Why do we carb cycle? What is carb cycling? And then very quickly, we'll chat through all the days.
Yeah, it's the variant of those macronutrients through your week. So protein's going to be your anchor. It's going to stay consistent through all the days of the week. Fats and carbs are what's going to fluctuate in this carb cycling model. So in the first 2 days of the week, we are low carb, meaning less than 50 net grams of carbs.
Yep.
And the rest of the week, we're experiencing more carbs, which we call regular macro days. And then you're also experiencing some lower macro days, and that's just a reduction of all your macros across the board. But remember, protein's the anchor, and we're simply undulating the variance of your carbs throughout the week.
Can I borrow the
Yes.
marker? I'm going to borrow the marker. Okay, here's what we're doing. I'm going to kind of combine these 2 points. Not only are we cycling your carbohydrates with a more standard stable protein throughout the week, but we are also pairing your carb cycle with our effective workouts
Yeah.
on a low carb macro day, which is less than 50 grams of net carbs. We are pairing that with a high intensity interval training workout, just like what you did today. High intensity interval training. We are depleting your glycogen stores so you can burn fat for fuel. Intermittent fasting, low carb, paired with HIIT, extremely effective, okay? Low carb day, Monday and Tuesday. Then we have a regular macro day, which is regular carbs, okay? On this day, we do strength training. We have total body strength on Wednesday. We have upper body strength on Thursday. We then also have a leg day on Saturday, my favorite day of the week because we add in a treat. In addition to that, we have low macro. On low macro day, you're having 25% less overall protein, fats, and carbs. Okay. We're driving you down because we want you to do active recovery in the way of Pilates, yoga, iso stretch. Perhaps you just take off from looking at a screen. You go out, you do a walk,
that's
you
great too.
cycle, you hike,
Yeah.
you swim. We love that. Okay. So low carb, regular macro, low macro. Stay tuned for next week because we're going to throw out some other things. We're going to throw out one called feast day, one called 24-hour fast day. That is week 3. Pay attention. Okay. But this is really important. Our program is clinically proven. We are the only fitness app clinically proven to empower you to build muscle while simultaneously burning fat. This is actually profound.
It is.
It's actually profound.
Yes.
Bro science would tell us you got to do a cut phase and you got to do a build phase. You're going to eat all this food
It's
and, and then you're going to do a cut and you're going to do deficit diet. No, we actually cracked the code
We did.
and we figured out we can lean bulk. For lack of a better.
Yeah.
We can actually burn fat at the same time as building muscle.
Yes.
So profound.
It's so awesome.
So unique to our programming. And it's because, I mean, have you ever heard this before?
No.
Have you ever done this? Oh, I'm going to have my meal guide and my food cycle pair with my workout.
Yes.
Has anyone ever heard of that?
No.
Why is nobody else doing
I don't
this?
know.
We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
I guess we're just not well known enough for people to be copying us left and right. But that is why you're going to see results here in the fast way. You're going to trust the process. You're going to follow the meal plan. You're going to do these low carb days. You're going to manipulate those fats, the carbohydrates. You're going to keep your protein stable.
Right.
and you're going to thrive, right, Haven?
Yeah,
Week
absolutely.
two. Week
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're feeling
Awesome.
good already. I know that.
Yeah.
I know it for sure.
Watch for increased energy. Watch for some extra
Yes.
strength. Remember, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday morning, you might be a little bit cranky, totally normal. You're going to
Yes.
start to really adjust. Your body's going to become a pro fat burner, transitioning from that sugar burner to becoming a pro fat burner. We are so thrilled that you have made it this far. We are confident that you're going to continue to thrive, and we hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.